Okay, so now I think we might find a few things to fix here and there, but we have basically what we need to fully design this surfboard at what I consider to be a high level of quality. Given that at the last minute we will replace these red triangles with surfaces from the with filling surfaces from the surface workbench, and given that they are extremely similar to the original surface with a slight deviation along this rounded corner, I expect good results from them. Now, of course, the flatter you can keep them, the better the filling surface will turn out. And also, having this be a smaller proportion of the entire rolling corner will also make it easier for the surface filling algorithm to fix it. But no matter how big we make them, they will always be very similar to the original primary surface. No matter how much I push them towards here, they'll always live exactly on top. And yeah, the filling surface algorithm is going to have a harder and harder time with it, but this piece here will stay pretty good. So let's play around with that, and let's start by giving it more rolling action. What does that mean? It means that I want this piece to be smaller and stretched out and really rolling. So that means making this red piece bigger. So I'm going to turn on all these points. I'm going to leave the main driving points, the red ones, visible. And let's see. Well, let's just do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these green points, and whenever there's a 0.25, I'm going to make it a 0.75, and whenever there's a 0.75, I'm going to make it a 0.25. Let me turn on the corner points also, actually, because on this one, it's easy to say, oh yeah, the corner is somewhere right here. But with these guys on the bottom, you're like, where was the corner again? At least I am. So, go to my blending setup. I'm going to turn on all the starts. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, because I really did a lot of work on these curves. So this area is fairly distorted. Let's see how well this rolling corner reacts. Well, first thing you can see is it doesn't have the massive defect right here. None of that folding business. None of that jumping up in the air when I use the filling surface. It really follows right here. See, when I look at it from the left, it is totally doing the thing. When I look at it from the rear, it's totally doing the thing in this direction also. All right. Another thing here is these middle surfaces are not helpful. These middle segments of the full curves are not helpful. But what would be nice, turn this off, close this. I don't need anything else in here right now. Don't need this. Well, I will be working in here. But what I want right now is the full curves. That's useful, because it lets me see what I'm cutting as I'm moving these points. So this guy right here, it's a 0.75. I make it a 0.25. Update. Okay, that jumped to here. Same thing on the other side right here. Give me my point. Equal. This is a 0.25. I'll make it a 0.75. Yeah, it's annoying to set up these formulas, right? But at least I put the part I edit all the way up front. It would be nice to have shorter names and everything, and I want to set up a parameter system where you create parameter objects, and all you do is it gives you an object here to click, and you can edit the formula and give it a short name, and that will ease the pain a little bit on this. Remember that you can already do this with spreadsheets if you want to. So you could have a spreadsheet where you calmly set up these formulas in a way that you can see them. So you could have up front a list of I want all of these to be 0.25 and I want all of these to be 0.75 or whatever. And so you would have overall control. Right now, I just still go in and edit the formulas. F5. Okay, it jumped. And not only did it jump, you can see that these triangles got bigger, right? So interestingly, this setup here might be what we actually want. Because look, it makes this fairly even-sided. But maybe not. Let's just do what I actually said I was going to do. Is I'm going to take this guy here and I'm going to pull it all the way towards the tip. So that equal, it is currently 8.75. So that means I make it 8.25. Hit F5. Okay. See, this surface right here doesn't look like it's matching all that well to this guy. Let's take a look at their resolution. I'm just going to take both of them real quick. Put this at 1. Put this at 0.3. Sure enough, it closed the gap. So I don't want to have these at high resolution all the time. So I'm going to put it back at 0.5. But whenever you see a gap like that, you should be concerned about whether it's caused by the display resolution or if there's actually a problem. So check it. If you see a gap, check it. And I just did, and it turned out it was fine. So I'm going to put it back at low resolution because this piece is wildly different in size from this one. So with the same resolution, this guy here actually has more actual precision on an absolute scale than this one. But as long as we crank it all up sufficiently, it'll be fine. Okay, so I made these triangles big. Does it still work? I would say yes. I haven't cranked up the resolution, but it works. And here's something really nice. Remember how I pushed this curve inside a little bit to make it, give it a little bit of a spoon shape? Well, now this really shows, but now it shows well. Now, the spoon shape, I think, is a very dumb idea for a surfboard. I don't think it should do a spoon shape because it would create drag on the surface, extra drag right behind the nose. But maybe that's not bad. Maybe extra drag right behind the nose would actually lift you if the nose went under, but maybe not. Maybe it could cause flow separation and recirculation and actually push you down. Now you're getting into fluid dynamics. But you have control over that. You can make this spoon or point down. Later we'll fix it up. Right now I just want to talk about the topology and play around with these guys. My rolling blends. So I changed it from small triangle to large triangle. And the actual corner blend pieces here still seem to be doing okay. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom, and then I will update my view sets, update my solids and everything. So this guy right here, it's already wide in this direction because it's pulling from these points here. And the only control parameter I have left is actually this guy right here. Remember, this is the actual bottom left corner when we think in terms of the lump topology that we mapped onto here. So let's take this guy. Look at its formula. Equal, it's a 0.25, so I just switch it to 0.75. Hit F5. And same thing. Okay, so now these triangles are big. There's more work for surface fill to do. But the blend seems to be, the actual silk blend in the corner still seems to be handling it pretty well. Okay, you know what? So here, now we really have some stuff to balance. We could make the blends along these edges really small and do the sculpting of this side by editing the primary surface, right? By editing the actual curves. And that would be fine. But the smaller we make this blend here, it also affects the size of this guy. So we'll have to be careful with that. There's a lot of stuff. Now I have so much stuff visible. When I'm editing these points, right, I look in this view, okay, everything makes sense. But then when I zoom out, I'm seeing way too much stuff. So it's time to fix the view sets so that we can have the stuff we're editing here, but also separate views of the intermediate stages, so that we don't have to turn things on and off here all the time just to see what the final surfaces look like. So I leave all this stuff alone and I turn on the view sets. Ugh, I've lost a lot of stuff. So let's put all this stuff back in. First, I'm going to look at this guy. What is missing from here that I'd like to see? It's the green and yellow. It's the green and yellow points. So I'm going to do this. Select them all. Control, select the folder so they don't show up. Make links out of all this stuff. Go to data, move them immediately. I'm moving in the X. I don't remember how far. I'm going to do 1000. So it looks like maybe it was at 900. If 1000 is too much, maybe this was at 900. So to get them mapped onto here, I'm going to try 1800. Too much. Maybe 1600. Yeah, it was 800 and 1600. Okay, so these are now in the right spot. This is fine to see here. So, close this. Where do I want to put that? I want to put that in my view sets. Specifically, I'm going to make a new folder. View, roll, cut, points. Not with a plus sign though. Give it a number. Take all of these. Put them in here. Take all of this. Put it right below the roll cut, the blending cut points. Okay, so all of this, these three here, I'm okay with. But actually, it's time to make a folder to group this stuff. Make a folder. Drop it in view sets. Take all of these. Put it in here. Let's see this. View set, primary, and cut points 01. Okay. All the things that I've layered on top of each other are in a single folder. So let's fix this guy now. What's missing from here? What's missing from here is additional restored surfaces, the rounded triangles, and the blends. So let's find them. It's not this. I'm going to go back in here and actually hide all of this, hide all of that, hide all of that. So it's basically, it's the stuff I'm seeing here. This here is what I need to put there. For example, it's these additional restored surfaces. I'm going to hide them, then link them, and move them to 800. Now that I've done that, I'm going to close this folder, and it's going to go into View Set Final Surfaces. Let me check that that is correct. Yes, that is correct. That's what I wanted to do. And now I don't see them in this area here anymore. So I'm done with that. I want these guys. They're not really final surfaces, they're just previews, but they make sense to show in here. Link 800. Collapse this folder. Move to View Set Final Surfaces. They didn't go in the folder. Let me drag again. Inside the folder, please. Yep, that's what I wanted. It's taken care of here. Let's do the last ones. These guys, hide them, link them. 800. Close this folder. and move them to view final surfaces. Okay, that's it. Now I have all my final surfaces in here. They're at low quality, so I see seams, but that's fine. This view here is really good to diagnose, do I have all the pieces? Do I see any obvious holes? And also, I can click on things, and it gives me an idea if I still have things on top of each other. Right? If this piece here was still this wide, instead of only being this wide, then I would see that it's interfering with these guys. It's not an absolute solution, but that's the function of this view set, is to quickly let me see which surfaces have reached the final stage. Do I have any holes? Do I have any obvious problems? Okay. So I'm happy with that, and I'm happy with that. What else do I need to do? First of all, I'm going to make it obvious that this folder is hidden and taken care of. I want to work on my CAD. It's thinking, so I'm trying to scroll right now, but when I reactivated this, it's doing a lot of thinking. Because this object here is at high precision. But did you notice that it did not bother us even once while we were doing the rest of the work? And this is a really cool thing that the Curves Workbench solid object does for us, is that even though it's completely linked and it's supposed to update immediately, it doesn't recalculate the surface at high quality unless you show it. And that is just absolutely amazing, because that means that I can keep this object at high quality in here, and as long as it's hidden, I can do all my editing really, really fast, and I only pay the price of the high quality when I actually want to look at it. And that makes the work in here incredibly smooth, in my opinion. Because I can edit these things, leave all of this at low quality, edit everything, get really quick feedback on whether things are working, what they basically look like, even at low quality. And when I think that looks good, I only pay the graphical update price once to get this surface. So, thank you, FreeCAD. Thank you, Curves Workbench. I love this feature that lets me keep things at high quality and not pay the computational price all the time. But we need to fix this. This is missing a lot of stuff. And right now it's kind of hard to see, right? Because it's all the same color. I can't see where it seams. It's not clear what I have and what's missing when I compare it to this guy. Now, I know what I'm missing. It's these guys, these guys, these guys, and these guys, times 4. But for now, let's switch the solid from shaded to flat lines. And because I now see the lines on here, it's just a lot easier to read what's there and what's not there. So let's fix this guy by going to its data, turning on the link editor. I should have done something else first. Here's the problem. I think I could almost get away with selecting the object I want here, but then it would look at the links. And even if it works, that means that this object is looking way too far down the line instead of looking directly at the objects I actually want. So I'm going to cancel that. And I'm going to do it slightly differently. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the surfaces I want to add to here directly in the workspace. I don't need these layouts though. What I need to do is I need to come here and I'm going to work back from the bottom and turn on the things that are surfaces. Do I want this? Oh yeah, I want that. Grids, no. Grids, no. Roll rounded surfaces preview. Do I want that? Ooh, remember this is the ones that are bad, and I said I don't really want to include them right off the bat. But you know what? Just for now, I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to include these red triangles into my final surface, and then we'll see how bad they are. Then my grids here, no. Roll restored surfaces, yes. And that's it. I've turned on all the things I want to add to this. So now I go to edit the links, and I'm going to do it in 4 steps because I don't want to be changing the view and all that stuff. So I'm going to do just one thing at a time. And for my own sanity, even though it doesn't matter, I'm going to do it in the order that things should go, which is from the first section towards the middle section towards the first section. So I'm here. I want to add, I'm going to use the control key. I want to add this. It doesn't matter. I just want to do all of them. I might regret it one day, but I'm just going to click all the stuff I want. Okay. I didn't get a highlight on this. And I look in here, I don't see a second corner. Control. I have to wait for it to pre-select for me, otherwise it's not going to work. So now that it has correctly pre-selected, I click it. And now I see that I have selected all the stuff I want. That's it. I'm gonna do just this, and then I'll do the other ones. I hit OK. It's thinking, because now it's adding them into the solid, and now it's recomputing them at full precision. Something annoying just happened in my workflow is that all the stuff that I just added into the solid did not hide itself. And when I try to click on it, it clicks the solid. So I'm just going to hide the solid for a second. And hide this, hide that, hide this, hide that, hide this, hide that. And hide these blue surfaces. Oh, you see right here? There's a weird extra twist going on here. We'll have to make sure that that's not an unexpected bump. Okay. So now, turn my solid back on. Well, I want to hide my my view sets. I don't want to be. I'm not doing anything in the view sets right now, so I don't want them to show. Okay. Now I see that I've properly added in all these surfaces towards the nose. Okay. Let's do it again for this guy, for this part of the surfboard. This quarter of the surfboard, I want to add this. Wait for the highlight, click. 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 I'm going to try something that I've never done. Can I hit spacebar, hide everything, and then hit OK? I hit spacebar. No, it canceled what I was doing. Because even though I had just selected all these things, what was actually counting as a selection was this, because I was in the middle of editing it. But then it hid the stuff that I had selected as well. Ooh, that's really strange. So I guess it counted everything as being selected. Okay, good to know. When you click this and you edit, it's linked list. This is still in the selection. Everything you click during the edit is also selected. So if you try to hide, it will hide everything. But it will also kick you out of the edit mode. So not what I wanted. So I have to turn all of these back on. That's okay. And I'm missing these guys. Okay. Do it again. I'm just looking for shortcuts. It didn't work. Why? Ah, this is showing me the list of everything that's already in here. Okay, I'm going to add control, click, wait, click, wait, click, 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 click. I have to hit OK. And you know what, I'm not going to bother hiding them. I don't care. I know I did it. You know what, to diagnose whether I did it right, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to make a link, a view link of this guy. Where am I going to put it? It's not a final placement, but for now, to make my life easy, I'm just going to put it at -800. It's thinking. It's thinking, that's fine. I see right now, oh, finally this object updated. It's funny. After I edited the links, it did not recompute automatically, but when I moved the link of it, it did recompute automatically. Okay. So now I have what I want, which is that I can work in this area, edit this object, select pieces, add them to my overall solid, and I can't hide what I added, but I can see the final result. It's just as good. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing on the deck of the surfboard, rotate myself a little bit. And it's not that easy to see, right? But there's gaps in here. And that's what I'm going to fill. Something that would be really nice is if I could make this have a different color on both sides. Instead of because it sucks when you say one-sided lighting, it makes everything on the inside black. So you definitely get a diagnostic, but it's not pretty. If I could say, hey, when you're looking at the inside, always make it red or always make it bright yellow, that would be a really neat feature. For now, I'm going to show you what I mean by making the display of this solid one-sided. Can I do that in a link? Yes, I can. Okay, so now at least I can clearly see what I have left to do. So let's do it. Select this object, go to data, edit. Actually, I'm going to do something. While I'm working on this, it's taking too long. I'm going to lower the quality because I'm doing this a bunch of times. So I'm going to raise the tolerance and make this object edit at normal speed. Going here, what do I want to add? I want to fill in the black parts. So that is Control key, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Do you see how fast the highlighting is working now? That's because I lowered the quality. See, as soon as I go above the object, boom, it immediately highlights and is available for selection. Okay. I still have to hit F5, and boom, I see that I correctly filled this side of the surface. Okay, last one. I want to fill in what's black here. This guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Okay, boom, F5, got it. So now, in the workspace, I can hide all of these, I can hide all of these, I can hide all of these. And this guy here, that's a link. I'm just going to drop it in my view sets. So now in my view sets, I have three things. The final surfaces, color-coded, so I can see how far along I am in the process. The primary curves and surfaces and all the cut points. And a link to the solid. Okay, so now I'm going to increase the quality again. It's thinking. It's thinking. Thinking. And I'm going to remove the flat lines. I'm going to hide the actual CAD object, turn on all the view sets. I'm going to turn on my layouts and my control sketches. In the workspace, but I'm actually going to turn on more stuff in here. Remember how I have the lazy folder right here? It's not that useful to look at the sketches for the 3D curves because there's 2 of them for every curve, but it is useful to look at the final combined control polygons. So now, in the workspace, I have a pretty good overview of what I'm working with. I see my master layouts that control the position of the sections. I see the sections that follow those layouts. And I also see the final polygons of my 3D curves. So this right here is all my sketch-based control data. This is the final topology I make from them. And I can also see quickly what the primary surfaces are that I'm blending and where I'm blending them. And then I have my final object. And now let's take a look at it. Do you remember the defects? Right here? Bye-bye. They're gone. Now, it's spooning here in a weird way. And something that I already know from when I did the early study on this thing is that this blend could use a little bit of love so that it smooths out. See, it's really, really wide, really, really wide, really, really wide, and it only narrows to the tip at the last moment, right? The transition from really rounded right here to pointy at the tip is only happening in the rounded blend. I would like this transition to occur smoothly from here to here. What that means is I want this to be nice and rounded right here, but I want it to sharpen before it gets here. And I will do that in the next video, because this is what I wanted to show you in this one. The full design setup for the workboard, and now we are ready to do a final design iteration where we play with these cut points and we gauge how well they work at shaping our nose. I think they're good, honestly. But we will evaluate that critically, and we'll have to be careful, because if we narrow the nose here to make it pointy, that means it will automatically narrow this portion here, so we'll have to be careful. I will also make these blends along the edges here as sharp as possible, because right now I've absorbed so much in this area that I've really lost the definition on my rail transition. Now maybe that's what you want, but I think this edge on the bottom here is actually supposed to be pretty sharp. And right now it's really, really rounded. I think that's the idea anyway. I think that the lower rail is kind of the edge, the angle of attack for the fluid dynamics, and the upper section is a little bit more rounded. But maybe I'll do a little bit more research on surfboards before I commit to that viewpoint. But I'll show you that you can do it. We can keep the top nice and rounded and make the bottom edge a lot sharper. Then I will also make the transition from really rounded here to much sharper here. And I don't want to do it all in just at the last moment, because look what it's doing right here. It's fine. As far as blend quality goes, this is absolute baller. But as far as design goes, I want to have this nose be really sharp and flat at the tip, but I want that transition to occur more smoothly along this blend. So there will be a lot of things to balance when we finalize all this stuff. All right, I'm going to save, and then I'm going to put all the little snippets of video that I took and find out how long it really took me to do this. Catch you next time.